Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday, where each week I take a look at a different independent role-playing game. I'm still on a bit of a tear cleaning out my backlog of old titles, and this time I'm taking a look at one that's been out for a few years now. One Way Heroics, developed by Smoking Wolf, was released on Steam back in February of 2014. One Way Heroics is one of those gimmicky RPGs that basically boils down the gameplay of your typical computer RPG, in this case a JRPG, to its barest minimum level and then goes on with that. However, it was one of the earlier examples of this, so it can be excused in that manner. Mechanically, One Way Heroics simply has you traveling through a randomly generated land while a dark veil inexorably closes in from the left of the screen. As such, you have to maneuver to gather as much gear and experience as you can without becoming trapped and unable to escape. In terms of plot, some demon lord has unleashed an evil, all-consuming darkness over the land. You, the chosen hero, meet with the king and then set out to gather power to face the demon lord, with your trusty companion fairy Iris to guide you on the way. When you initially start the game, you can pick between one of two classes, Knight and Hunter, and may select a few perks that can increase individual stats. You may then select a world to start with. Each world has and is identified by its own seed, and after initially starting your world, it is preserved for future playthroughs unless you regenerate it, of course. You may also select a world by a known key, and there are a few other scenario worlds that are already pre-generated. You may select a difficulty as well, telling when the Demon Lord will appear, and then you are dropped directly into the game. Each character has a certain set of ability scores: strength that impacts attack power and weight limit, agility that affects the combo chance for a second attack and how quickly your actions are taken, vitality that impacts hit points and damage taken, intellect that determines item identification rate and the stamina needed for skills and spells, willpower that affects force powers and critical hit chance, and finally charisma that impacts shot prices and allies' attack power. Characters also have life, which is hit points, stamina, which is used for attacks, travel, and skills, energy, which depletes over time and represents your hunger, a weight limit that determines what you can carry, an attack rating that affects damage done, a force rating that affects force spells, defense rating that reduces your damage taken, movement speed that impacts how quickly they may move, combo hit percentage, critical hit rate, and appraisal rate to identify unidentified items. Characters also may get a certain number of skills. These are generally decided on by class, but as you advance in level, you may also pick up additional skills, and NPCs that you encounter can teach you new skills as well. Once in the game, play is controlled by either the arrow keys or the number pad, allowing you movement in all 8 directions. Characters may also attack in their given facing, adjust their facing, or use skills or items. Doing anything but changing facing costs a bit of time, allowing the darkness to catch up just a bit and monsters to move around. Although the screen really only scrolls from left to right one way to represent the encroaching darkness, it may also scroll up and down a bit to represent the breadth of the land. You are given a mini-map, a status bar at the bottom representing your progress overall, and information on the world and the last time you went through it at the top of the screen. If you're playing the same world that you have before, the map will be the same, although items and monsters scattered about will vary. This can be useful since the one-way nature of going through the land may result in a limited amount of time to explore dungeons and towns, so if you know that one is coming up, you can make sure to maximize the number of turns that you actually spend doing so. The world is represented by tiles of terrain, some of which can be daunting to cross. Climbing mountains or swimming through lakes, for instance, takes several turns to do, which can not only let the darkness start to catch up to you, but may also result in enemies getting several turns of free attacks on you. You may uncover buildings, which can be dungeons, towns, or otherwise. Towns are generally filled with helpful NPCs who can give clues, buy and sell gear, sell food to restore energy, and provide a place to save the game. Saving is really only necessary in a particular run if you feel the need to quit, as completing a run will store your advancement on a particular character one way or the other. Dungeons may present not only a number of monsters, but also treasure in the form of chests, crates, and so forth, or even altars that can be used to gain abilities or trade in your experience levels for certain stats. Monsters are randomly generated, of course, and may include creatures of varying difficulties and attack routines. Certain monsters may be much tougher, bearing certain special qualities. Defeating a monster results in a gain in experience, and whenever you level up, you gain in ability scores, health, and may also occasionally gain new skills depending on your class. As you adventure, you'll find items as well, which are randomly generated as the rest of the game. Weapons and armor are generally unidentified when you find them, unless you've got enough intellect and special skills to ID them on the spot. They may still be used, but their properties are largely hidden from you. Characters may generally equip a weapon, ammunition, armor, and accessory, and items equipped may not only have base stats, but also special qualities that can grant additional attacks, increase in certain scores, special effects, and so forth. Equipment also has a durability, which decreases as you use them in combat. Other items that you find may include various scrolls to enchant or identify armor or to cast certain spells on enemies, potions and herbs that provide healing or other special effects, items that can be thrown or activated to overcome certain obstacles, and even treasure that can be sold to merchants. The game uses a kind of silver economy, which is used to buy gear and supplies from NPCs when you encounter them. Once you finish a run, whether you are defeated or not, you are granted a certain number of hero points. These can be used to unlock slots in a dimensional storage system, used to transfer items from run to run, unlock additional classes in case you don't want to perform the specific task that unlocks that class, and unlock additional perks to take with a new character. The game itself can be variable in challenge as most roguelikes are, but the ability to unlock additional characters and the different scenarios that it gives you can increase the replay value a bit. There's not a lot to one-way heroics, but what is there is quite amusing. An important thing to note is that although you're trying to outrun the darkness encroaching from the side of the screen, the game is fundamentally turn-based, so you can actually take your time during tricky situations to think about what items or skills to use, or even which enemies to fight or which path to take. Graphically, the game is pretty typical of tile-based RPGs using a JRPG styling. Likewise, the music is reminiscent of the genre. I mean, there's nothing really outstanding here at all, although I will admit that the graphics felt a little smoother than I'm used to seeing for games of this type. Although this review is based on the basic game, One Way Heroics also comes in a Plus version. The Plus version adds additional items, tweaks gameplay, and includes the quality of life elements like automatically turning you to face enemies, providing more clear enemy detection feedback, and so forth, as well as adding a castle improvement system that allows you to boost the starting castle so that you can grab a few more good items before racing out into the world. All in all, One Way Heroics Plus is just a general improvement overall. Fortunately, both games are often available in a bundle, so, keep your eye out. I can definitely say that I found One Way Heroics amusing, and if you can find it on sale, I would really recommend picking it up if you're into the sort of simplified roguelike play it provides. And on that note, I'm going to leave it here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my Indie Game Friday One Way Heroics. As always, I'll leave a link to where you can pick it up in the description below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you're still watching this far, I'd like to take a moment to thank those who have supported this channel via Patreon or direct donations throughout the years, without which this channel could not have lasted as long as it has. For those who are feeling particularly generous, you can still support my work through Patreon and now through Subscribestar as well, through the links in the description below.